There's someone in your life who smiles when you walk in, who says the right things, who seems supportive, but something feels off. You can't name it, you can't prove it, but your body knows. Something about their reaction to your good news didn't feel like celebration. It felt like measurement. Today, we're going to name what your nervous system has already been trying to tell you. Jealousy is one of the oldest emotions humans carry, but here's what most people don't understand about it. People who feel jealous rarely show it directly, because jealousy comes with shame attached. Nobody wants to admit, your success makes me feel small, so the emotion doesn't disappear, it just goes underground. It gets disguised as humor, as criticism, as sudden distance, as faint, almost invisible, undermining. Psychologists call this envy concealment, the behavioral pattern where someone hides their envy behind socially acceptable masks, and because it's hidden, you start to doubt yourself. Was I imagining it? Am I being paranoid? Maybe I'm too sensitive. You're not. Before we go further, this isn't about finding enemies. Most people who feel jealous of you aren't bad people. Jealousy is a deeply human experience. Evolutionary psychologists believe it exists because the brain uses social comparison as a survival mechanism. Your brain constantly scans. Where do I rank? Am I falling behind? Is my place in the group safe? When someone sees you advancing, their threat detection system can activate even when there's no real threat, even when they love you. Understanding this doesn't mean you accept mistreatment. It means you see clearly. And clarity protects you better than suspicion ever could. Here's what's happening inside the envious brain. When we perceive someone gaining status, resources, or admiration, the brain activates a region called the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that registers physical pain. Envy, neurologically, hurts. And when something hurts, the brain does what it always does. It tries to reduce the pain. One way to reduce it is growth, to close the gap through effort. But the easier, faster route the brain offers is diminishment. Make the other person smaller. Question their achievement. Distance yourself. Withhold your genuine reaction. This is why jealous behavior so often looks passive. It's not aggression. It's the brain quietly trying to rebalance the scales. Now you'll recognize the signs. Sign 1, backhanded compliments. Wow, you actually did it. That's impressive for someone like you. The structure is praise, but the payload is doubt. Psychologists call this ambivalent communication, a way of expressing negativity while maintaining social deniability. The person can always say, I was being nice, but you felt the sting. Trust that. Sign 2. They go quiet when you win. Your group chat celebrates someone else's news, but when yours arrives, the response is slower, smaller, or missing. This is emotional withholding, the inability to generate genuine joy at another person's success. Research on schadenfreude and envy shows the same neural circuits compete. Feeling joy for others and feeling threatened by them cannot fully coexist in an activated threat state. Sign 3. They subtly discredit your achievements. You only got that because of timing. It's easier when you have those advantages. This is the brain's attribution reframing strategy, reassigning the cause of your success from your ability to external luck. Because if it's luck, the gap between you isn't real talent. It's random chance. And that is easier to live with. Sign 4. They distance after good news. You notice they're less available. They cancel plans. The energy shifts right after something good happens for you. This is proximity management, reducing exposure to the source of envy to regulate the emotional pain it creates. It's not always conscious, but the pattern is consistent. Your good news triggers their withdrawal. Sign 5. They compete with everything. Not just work, everything. If you mention you're tired, they're more tired. If you share a struggle, they have a bigger one. If you achieve something, they redirect back to themselves. Psychology calls this status rivalry, a chronic need to maintain perceived equivalence. The competitive behavior isn't about you. It's about their internal ranking system that can't tolerate feeling below. Sign 6. They talk about you differently to others. You hear it through someone else, a comment that doesn't quite match who you know them to be with you. This is impression management in reverse, using social channels to quietly reduce your standing with others while keeping the relationship intact. It's subtle, it's deniable, but it's one of the clearest signals that the envy has moved from internal feeling to external behavior. Sign 7. They give advice that doesn't quite fit. They tell you to be careful, to wait, to think it through more. When you share an opportunity, something real and exciting, they introduce doubt. Research on social undermining shows this pattern often comes from people who feel threatened by your potential growth. The advice sounds caring, but it steers you towards stillness, and stillness keeps the gap from widening. Here's the mental model to carry forward. Think of it as two separate circles. One circle is theirs, their threat response, their unhealed comparison wounds, their brain trying to manage pain it didn't ask for. The other circle is yours, your direction, your decisions, your growth. These circles are not the same. What someone else feels about your progress lives entirely in their circle. You don't carry it. You don't shrink for it. You don't try to fix it. You simply see it clearly. Seeing clearly means you stop second-guessing yourself every time someone's reaction doesn't match your moment. It means you understand. The quiet in the room after your good news says everything about their internal weather and nothing about your worth. You didn't come here to collect enemies. You came here to understand people better, including the ones who can't fully celebrate you yet. The most psychologically grounded thing you can do is continue. Continue building. Continue sharing. Continue becoming. Not to prove something, not to make them feel worse, but because your growth belongs to you. The brain that feels envious is a brain in pain. The brain that keeps going anyway, quietly, steadily, without performance. That is a brain that has found something rare, peace with its own direction. If something here resonated, you already know why. Take that with you.